Good day, one and all, and to one and all, a good day. My name is Lewis, also known as Speedy, welcoming you to the fifth and final round of the Forgotten Muscle Championship. Yes, after 4 days of non-stop action and some hiccups along the way, we are now here at the fifth and final round of the Forgotten Muscle Championship. We have seen the car that you are currently seeing on screen, the Dodge Coronet Superbee, defeated by, of all things, the Mercury Cougar Eliminator at Sonoma. We have seen a boat go around every track in the form of the AMC Javelin AMX. We have seen a surprisingly dapper-looking car in the form of the Buick GS X try its luck. And of course, we've seen what people consider the granddaddy of the muscle car, the Ford Mustang Boss 302. But now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where shit gets serious. Because, you may or may not remember, at the end of round 4, I said that I had a plan to make round 5 a bit interesting. And that plan was to modify the cars ever so slightly. See, the trend with old American muscle cars in the United States is that they reside in one of 3 conditions. They reside in either a unfinished project car, excuse me, let me try it again. They either remain an unfinished project car, they get restored to factory fresh condition, or there's a new thing, well, new-ish, for the last 20 years, maybe, I don't know, called resto modding, which is basically where you restore a car and then modify the living bejesus out of it with all new parts. I seem to recall that Top Gear USA did an episode completely dedicated to the concept of the resto mod. And it was a really, really good episode. I seem to recall, I think it was Tanner. He drove, he drove a Ford Shelby Mustang GT 350. You know, the one from Nicolas Cage's remake of Gone in 60 Seconds. But it had the engine from a new Ford Mustang under the bonnet, as opposed to the original engine. And so that's what I've kind of sort of done with round 5. I have sort of dabbled with the concept of the resto mod. But, excuse me again, I have kept the stock engine in all the cars. All I have done are the following modifications. I've swapped out the stock transmissions for a race spec 6-speed transmission. I've also swapped out the clutch. I've swapped out the flywheel, both for race spec parts. I have also added a race spec supercharger and a race spec intercooler. Now, you're probably all sitting there thinking, Lewis, that's all fine and dandy, but why a supercharger? Why not go for a turbocharger? You, of all people, should know that turbochargers produce more torque than a supercharger. You trained to be a mechanic, for God's sakes. You're right, I did train to be a mechanic, and yes, you are right in saying that turbochargers do produce more torque. But a supercharger has one thing that a turbocharger will never have. A smooth delivery. Think about it. A supercharger, the power is on borderline continuously. A turbocharger, you have to wait till you get past a certain threshold in RPMs before the boost of the turbo kicks in. A turbocharger has got something called turbo lag, which is where the impellers, I think it is, the impellers on a turbocharger need to spool up to create the boost. A supercharger, on the other hand, because it's actually driven off of the crankshaft, doesn't need that time for build-up. It's just there, instantaneous, pretty much whenever you want it. And that is why I've gone for a supercharger. Also, I mean, come on, Vin Diesel's Dodge Charger has got a big-ass supercharger sticking out the bonnet. He must know what he's doing. The first car to go around the Watkins Glen short circuit was this, our improved benchmark car, the 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 302, with all the modifications, predominantly the supercharger and the intercooler, these are the car's new statistics. 437 brake horsepower, 431 foot-pounds of torque, 3,341 pounds in weight. And as you can hear, this car sounds amazing with a supercharger. It genuinely does. I think what I accidentally did with this Boss 302 was I rebuilt the Mustang in such a way that Lee Iacocca wanted the Mustang to be, but he was too scared to say anything to his engineers and kept his trap shut. Although, to be fair, we are talking about a man who couldn't give two shits about the Mustang, so... Anyways, the benchmark time that the Ford Mustang Boss 302 set, bye-bye traffic cone, was a 1 minute 26.611 seconds. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Do you know? Because I don't know. The first competitive lap came from this, the 1971 AMC Javelin AMX. Now, with all the mod cons that I've thrown on the car, these are the new statistics. 461 brake horsepower, 586 foot-pounds of torque, 3,537 pounds in weight. So, okay, this thing could now finally go like a muscle car, but it's still handled like a boat. I can't stress that enough. It's still handled like a bloody boat. Seriously, I think it wouldn't have gone amiss if I had done something to the brakes, the tyres, and the suspension, because honestly, I mean, as you can hear, it makes a fantastic noise now, but it still handles like a boat. This thing's got the braking distance of the Queen Mary, for God's sakes. It just keeps going. That said, the time it had to beat was a 1 minute 26.1 a 1 minute 26.611 seconds, and the Javelin did it in 1 minute 553 seconds, a split of 1.058 seconds. Not bad for something that has the stopping distance of, say it with me, a boat. The second car to try and beat our benchmark vehicle was this, the 1970 Buick GS X. Including all the mod cons I mentioned earlier, the Buick is now producing 517 brake horsepower, 715 foot-pounds of torque. Let me say that again, 715 foot-pounds of torque, and a weight of 3,961 pounds. This car has come back with a vendetta against the Mercury. I'm sure it has. Massive oversteer moment up the hill. You might also notice as well that the right hand side of the car is damaged on both wings. Yeah, the right hand side of the car had a bit of an argument with the wall. So, yeah, that was more my fault. I kept my foot buried in the throttle and the car just understeered into the wall. My fault. I'm holding my hands up and taking full responsibility for that. Anyways, the Buick had a time of 1 minute 25.553 seconds to beat, and did a lap time of 1 minute 25.722 seconds, which is a split of 0.169 seconds. It was so close. Ladies and gentlemen, from Muscle City, Detroit, with 3 victories under its fan belt, it's the Dodge Coronet Superbee! Yeah! I wish. One day. I don't know. Yes. This was the 4th car to go around the Watkins Glen short circuit alternative formation. The 1970 Dodge Coronet Superbee. 573 brake horsepower, 653 foot-pounds of torque, 3,510 pounds in weight. This car was staggering around this track. but the back end was still extremely floaty. I genuinely did forget just how floaty the back end of this car is. Other than that though, yeah, as I say, this thing was amazing. Listen to how loud the supercharger is under power. It's such an incredibly loud supercharger, it isn't even funny. It really honestly is. Just wait now for this next straightaway. That is a loud-ass supercharger. Anyways, the time it had to beat was a 1 minute 25.553 seconds, a time set by the AMC Javelin AMX. The Dodge Coronet Superbee did it in a time of 1 minute 24.807 seconds. 8 tenths of a second. The second to last car to go around the Watkins Glen short circuit alternate formation was this, the 1970 Mercury Cougar Eliminator. 453 brake horsepower, 582 foot-pounds of torque, 3,525 pounds in weight. I'm gonna say it, this thing was really, really hungry for its second victory. It really honestly was. This thing flew. We actually managed to get it up to, I think it was 150 miles per hour coming up now onto this next straightaway after the uphill reverse S-bend. Yeah, 150 compared to how it was around Maple Valley and Daytona, where it was topping out at 125. That's actually a pretty decent improvement. That said, the time that the Mercury Cougar Eliminator had to beat was a 1 minute 24.708 seconds. The Mercury Cougar Eliminator did it in a time of 1 minute 25.884 seconds, which is, by my mathematics, a split of 1.176 seconds. Nearly 1.2 seconds slower than the Coronet. I guess the saying close but no cigar comes into effect at this point. The final car to go around the Watkins Glen short circuit alternate formation was this, the 1969 Pontiac GTO The Judge. Including all the mod cons I mentioned earlier in the Round 5 commentary, the car is now producing 495 brake horsepower, 592 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs 3,711 pounds. This car was just as badass around this track as it was around Sonoma and Road America. I mean, look at it. It's a jet black Pontiac GTO The Judge. Of course it's going to be badass. That said, the time it set wasn't very badass, I will admit. The time it had to beat was a 1 minute 24.708 seconds, a time that was set by the Dodge Coronet Superbee. The Pontiac GTO The Judge, even with all its mod cons, did it in a time of 1 minute 26.349 seconds, which is a split of 1.641 seconds. Nearly 1 3/4 seconds slower than the Coronet. And yet, it's still a badass car. Again, of course it is. It's a Pontiac GTO The Judge. Were you expecting anything less? And so there Championship. Holy cow, what a ride it's been. The Dodge Coronet Superbee managed to win 4 of the 5 rounds. The Mercury Cougar Eliminator managed to win 1. How it managed to pull that off, though, I still don't know. That is going to be something that will forever be able to escape my my ability of explanation. I genuinely couldn't tell you how the Mercury was the fastest around Sonoma, even if I tried. You could give me 5, 10, 15 years. You could give me the rest of my life to ponder on it. Not only is this the end of the Forgotten Muscle Championship, but this is also going to be, for a while, the end of the gaming videos. I haven't lost faith in them or anything, it isn't that. It's more to do with the fact that I currently have a project currently in production behind the scenes, and, well, let's just say that the meat and potatoes of said project involves a quad-turbo W16 that was recently released in a car pack for Forza Motorsport 7. If you've managed to work out what the car is, shh, don't tell anyone else! For those of you who haven't, well, surely that will make the surprise all the more special for you all. That said, thank you all so much for watching all 5 rounds of the Forgotten Muscle Championship. If you've enjoyed what you've seen over the past 5 days, please do make sure to subscribe to whichever channel you're watching this on. If you do, first off, thank you. Second, please do make sure to click the little bell icon so that you can stay up to date with the channel's shenanigans. Again, it doesn't matter if you're watching this on my primary channel or my gaming channel. Please do make sure to hit the subscribe button. It means a huge amount to me. It honestly does. If you've also liked what you've seen over the past 5 days, please do make sure to give the video a like, share it with a couple of your friends, maybe even drop a comment down below to say which car you think should have won the Forgotten Muscle Championship. I will admit, straight off the bat, I am astounded that the Mustang didn't put up a bigger fight, but then again, you know, it only had 290 horsepower, which technically did make it the least powerful car participating in the Forgotten Muscle Championship. That said, guys, as I've already said, thank you all so much for watching this mini-series. My name is Lewis, also known as Speedy, saying thank you all so much for watching, and until the next project, take care, guys. Take care.